What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. A link will be in the description box below as usual. This video is entitled The Black Male Experience, Becoming a Better Black Man. One thing that pains me is when I see brothers who have room to be better, but are too entitled and spoiled to make themselves better. So I have became a better person over the years. And I'm not the same guy I was 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. And I'll just talk about myself in some ways and how I became better at the things that I was flawed in. And so let's get into it. I remember I wasn't the biggest guy. I've never been the biggest guy. And I remember people telling me when I used to get in athletics or whatever, that if I was just 6 feet tall, if I was 200 pounds, I'd be a beast, I'd be a monster. And I couldn't, you're not going to grow taller because somebody wants you to be there. You're not going to gain weight because somebody wants you to gain weight. But what made me a better human being was to understand because I can't be those things, that didn't mean that I couldn't be better. That didn't mean I couldn't be stronger. That didn't mean I couldn't be faster. That didn't mean I couldn't be smarter. That didn't mean I couldn't have the remedy in certain situations, right? So I was able to take constructive criticism and become a better person. Not just have a better skill set in whatever sport I got in, but I was able to accept myself and to be able to compete with other people with my strengths and understand my weaknesses. So I didn't go out there trying to be something I wasn't. And you can always, once you know what your strengths are, you can always make your strengths better. But once you recognize your strengths, you also recognize your weaknesses, and the weaknesses that are in your control, you can gradually make those weaknesses your strengths. So over the years, I became a better black man because I worked on all of my weaknesses and I didn't act like they didn't exist. Another thing, I became a better man because I understood process. That's why I brought up what I brought up first, because nothing happens overnight. And you have to be willing to go outside of your comfort zone and trust in the process if you do certain things, it'll make you a better person over time. I wanted to learn more things. So the process was to read more. I wanted to have better knowledge of life. So the process is to experience more things. So I wanted to be able to relate to people better and to communicate with people better. So the process is to have conversations with different people who may think differently from me, who may be smarter than me, or who operate outside of a box of my realm of thinking that can expand my mind. So because I was willing to do those things, it expanded my mentality as a person to the point where it made me a better person. I have anger issues, right? And because of where I grew up and how I am as a human being in general. And I learned to channel my anger in different avenues. I learned to channel my anger into athletics, into academics, into just creating art. Because it made me a better person to realize just because something makes me upset doesn't mean I have to lose my cool, because I may be able to use that energy as fuel to make something else in my life better that I've been looking for an extra push to get over the hump with. And that made me a better person. You learn that you can't just fight everybody. You can't just get into it with everybody. Everything is not necessarily about you proving your masculinity and being right all the time. Sometimes you have something that happens in life that makes you angry over here, but you can use it over here to make your life better in this scenario. You have to learn how to channel your energies properly. And I think that made me a better person over time, because I can walk away from a fight and use that energy to create a masterpiece, right? Or use that energy to stay up longer studying and getting my life better, because people who anger you are going to come and go in your life. And they're only going to be there momentarily, because you're not going to stay around somebody that rubs you the wrong way. So it made me a better person to understand that, like, cool, if this is who you are and you rub people the wrong way on a regular basis, your life sucks. I can move on now. Presentation. Though you see me in workout clothes, because I work out every day actually. That is not, it's not the totality of who I am in public. I'm not going to go in a well-dressed atmosphere in workout clothes, unless I just happen to go there after a workout and somebody called me to be there for something. And I have no alternative at the moment. You know what I'm saying? But it made me a better person, because my grandfather had a stroke, so he didn't talk much, but she relayed the things that he taught too. You always dress for the occasion. And I know what my suit size is. I know my slack size. I know the things that look good on me. I know how to present myself properly and in a proper situation. I have manners, etiquette, decorum. There's certain things that I will do, and there's certain things that I won't do. There's a time to let loose, and there's a time to be reserved, and you have to learn those things. And over time, it made me a better person to say I can walk into a particular environment and handle myself in no matter where I'm at, because I came in the right way. How you start is how you finish. So if you start the right way, you're going to finish the right way. And it made me a better person, because it made me respect different atmospheres and different decorums and different rules of engagements with people. Because sometimes it's not about you as a person or how you personally get down. It's about doing what's best that operates in that particular environment. Okay, you have to adapt, you have to adjust, you have to be good all across the board, not just in the stuff you're comfortable with. And to get outside of my comfort zone made me a better person. And it made me comfortable outside of my comfort zone. So now there's nothing that I feel like that I couldn't do. What made me a better person was actually not using adversity as a tool to become a better man, and not crumbling under adversity and crying about it. Life isn't fair. Life isn't going to be fair. But in some ways it is fair, because life gives you unfair situations to test how ready you are for the trials and tribulations of life. You can't live in the past. You can't live in the one thing that didn't happen in your life and it just stops your life. You can't do that. And it made me a better man, because I realized, hey, life will knock you down. You got to get up. You can't just lay there. Sometimes standing by your principles and doing the right thing is going to cost you, and it's going to knock you off your square. But you can't even lay there even if you're doing the right thing. You have to get up, dust yourself off, and keep it pushing. And once you get that mentality as a daily part of your life, it's a lifesaver. It really is, because it puts you in a position where nothing discourages you, only deters you for a moment. You know what I'm saying? So that made me a better person. I was able to accept America and the realities of America. That made me a better black man. I'm not living in some kumbaya mindset where this is wrong because I'm black. I expect it to be wrong because I'm black. I expect people to look at me a certain way and treat me a certain way. And I instead of hoping for the best of people, I accept the reality of what is and what has always been and work in that. And that way I can properly navigate through society. Okay? Yeah, you're not going to get the credit you truly deserve. Yeah, society is always going to take shots at you and you're going to get used and played and people make deals because you're black. Yeah, they do that. But you can't cry about it every day. Accept this country for what this country is and move on. If you can't make a better life by complaining about reality. And that made me a better man, a better black man. Understanding spirituality versus religion made me a better man. To blindly be religious and have no spirituality to me is a bad thing. When you're religious, you're in tune with God or the universe a couple hours on a Sunday. When you're spiritual, you're in tune to everything God created on a regular basis. And to be that, you're in tune to people, plants, seasons, changes, energies, auras, moments, instincts, and when you're in tune with spirituality, you have a better sense of reality in society and how it evolves, and you can feel the changes coming. You can be ahead of the curve instead of behind it. I think that made me a better person. I had to drop negative beliefs. Sometimes you're not gonna like eating. Have to eat properly. I got high cholesterol. God damn, I can't get rid of the shit. So you got to come to terms with it that maybe I have to take medication even if I work out. Maybe I have to change my diet again. You have to be flexible enough to, change negative habits into positive habits. If you're a drinker, you got to put the alcohol down. Okay, you drink sometimes or drink on occasion or drink, give yourself a limit. Same thing with doing recreational drugs. You have to change that. The same thing with being a good or bad person. You have to change being a bad person to being a good person. And you have to change your negatives, but you have to address your negatives to be able to change them. You have to think, it made me a better person to stop buying into society's propaganda. I stopped watching television long time ago. And I felt, and it made me look at life differently. Because I don't care what's coming out. I don't care what's the new hot thing. I care about being a better person tomorrow than I am today. And I can't do that in front of a television watching something that's meant to make me waste my life. If I participate into time-wasting practices, I better have handled all of my business and then some so I've earned it. I'm not just gonna say I worked a 9 to 5, I worked overtime, so I earned just sitting here watching TV for 5 hours. That doesn't make me a better person. Another thing I think that made me a better person over time is I don't accept my own procrastination. I got to get up and say, this is what you did do, this is what you didn't do. I have to take responsibility for the actions that I did do and the responsibility for the actions that I didn't do. If I had a schedule, I have to maintain it. I have to keep it. So what that I don't necessarily want to do certain things. You don't want to do everything that you're supposed to do. Every time you do something that doesn't feel good to you, it doesn't hug you and kiss you and pat you on the back. But the fact that I held myself accountable and giving myself a standard, over the years it made me a better man, because guess what? Even if people expect something of me, they expect a higher quality individual than they get on a regular basis, and that makes me strive to be a higher quality individual for myself. You know, sometimes I'm not as available as other people because I'm in constant work of some sort. And I think that's another thing before I go, because I done jumped over 15 minutes. It made me a better person to accept that I'm going to constantly be a work in progress. There's never going to be a rest. You rest when you're dead. You better yourself every day, you know. And you plan for the long term, and you plan for other things and other people, and you plan for legacy. And you work for those things. And it made me a better person to know I'm not just responsible for myself, but I'm responsible for my grandkids who aren't even here yet. So I have to operate differently under that premise. So we out because it's taking too long now. I'll get back to you. Peace.